Speak to Win. Chapter 3. Self-Confidence and Mental Mastery. Eliminating the fear of public speaking. Think positively and masterfully with confidence and faith, and life becomes more secure, more fraught with action, richer in experience and achievement. Eddie Rickenbacker. Your goal when you speak is to stand up confidently, positive, relaxed, and feeling wonderful about yourself. Your ideal is to feel happy to be there, just as you would feel at a family Christmas party. Here's the question: how do you achieve this state of calmness, clarity, and confidence in front of any audience? This is what you will learn in this chapter. First, realize that stage fright is normal and natural, even for professionals who have appeared on the stage thousands of times. David Niven, the British actor, admitted that after thousands of performances, he still threw up every single time before he went on stage. According to the Book of Lists, 54% of adults rate fear of public speaking ahead of the fear of death. But as they say, there is nothing wrong with having butterflies in your stomach. Your goal is to get them to fly in information. All fears are learned. The good news is that children are born with no fears at all. All fears that you have as an adult are the result of childhood experiences and negative reinforcement, both from others and from yourself. Because these fears, including the fear of speaking in front of an audience, have been learned, they can be unlearned as well. The primary cause of adult fears is destructive criticism in childhood. When parents destructively criticize a child for any reason, he or she soon develops fears of failure and rejection. The fear of rejection or criticism leads to hypersensitivity to the opinions of others later in life. Psychologists also say that almost all mental and emotional problems stem back to love withheld as a child. This happens when the parent, in an attempt to manipulate and control the child, gives or withholds love as a tool to influence the child's behavior. As a result, the child soon thinks, as long as I do what mommy or daddy wants, I'm safe. If I don't do what they approve of, I'm not safe. Sensitive children, hypersensitive adults. A child who's subjected to destructive criticism or love withheld becomes an adult who's overly concerned with the opinions of other people and their attitudes toward him. In extreme cases, the person can become so afraid and insecure that he cannot do anything until he is sure the key people in his life approve. Many people are traumatized by the very idea of standing up and speaking in front of others. This is a manifestation of the fears of failure and rejection instilled prior to the age of 5. But these feelings can be replaced with feelings of confidence, calmness, competence, and self-control. Many of today's top speakers were so nervous at one time that they trembled at the very thought of speaking in front of others, even in staff meetings. A friend of mine, who speaks confidently to thousands of people today, wet his pants and had to run off the stage at his first public talk. Start with your message. Confident public speaking begins with having a message that you really want people to hear. This is extremely important. When someone tells me that he or she wants to be a better speaker, my first question is, why? What is it that this person feels so strongly about that she wants to share her ideas with others? Alice, In many cases, people want to be successful speakers so they can earn a lot of money or gain the praise and acclaim of others. They have given little or no thought to their subjects. In my experience, these people seldom ever rise above mediocrity. But if you have a subject that you feel strongly about and want to share with others, you'll find a way to become effective in expressing yourself. Speak from the heart. Some years ago, I heard Wally Amos, the founder of famous Amos cookies, give a talk on combating adult illiteracy. He was dedicating a good deal of his time and money to helping adults learn how to read. When he spoke to the 600 adults in the audience, he spoke from his heart. He obviously had no particular training as a speaker, but he had organized his thoughts and ideas in a logical sequence. He spoke with great sincerity about the importance of adults learning how to read and how it could change their lives. At the end of his talk, he got a standing ovation from the entire room. He was speaking from his heart on a subject he understood and cared about. The audience is on your side. The starting point of overcoming your fears or nervousness in public speaking is to realize that when you stand up to speak, everyone in the audience wants you to succeed. It's very much like going to a movie. Have you ever gone to a movie hoping that it would be a bad movie and a waste of time? Of course not. When you go to a movie, you're wishing and hoping that it'll be a good movie and that it will justify the time and expense you have invested. It's the same when you give a talk. The audience members are pulling for you. They all want you to succeed, exactly as if they were attending a prize ceremony for you. They're there to cheer you on. They're eagerly wishing and hoping that your talk will be successful and enjoyable. To put it another way, when you stand up to speak, you start with an A. You already have a top grade. Your job is merely to keep your A in the course of your remarks. Remember the Toastmasters process of systematic desensitization. By standing up and speaking over and over again, you will eventually lose most of your fear and trepidation. There's nothing that is more helpful in developing confidence than repetition. How to build confidence and competence. There are several specific techniques you can use to overcome fear and anxiety when you speak. The best speakers in the world use these methods continually. Verbalize. Fully 95% of your emotions are determined by what you tell yourself. That is, your self-talk largely controls how you think, feel, and act. And you have complete control over the words that are flowing through your conscious mind. The most powerful words that you can use to prepare yourself mentally for a speech or for any event are the words, I like myself. Before you get up to speak, say to yourself over and over, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. These words have a wonderful effect in raising your self-esteem and lowering your fears. The more you like yourself, the more confident you will become. The more you like yourself, the more relaxed you will be. The more you like yourself, the more you will like the people you are speaking to. And the more you like yourself, the better you will perform when you get up to speak. When you're feeling nervous or afraid for any reason, you can short-circuit these fears by repeating, I can do it, I can do it, I can do it. The fears of failure and rejection are expressed in the notion, I can't, I can't, I can't. When you say the words, I can do it, you cancel out the negative message and short-circuit the fear. When you try this for the first time, you'll be amazed at how much better you feel and how much more confidently you speak. Visualize. All improvement in your outer performance begins with an improvement in your mental pictures. When you create a clear, positive, exciting mental image of yourself speaking effectively, your subconscious mind accepts this as a command and then gives you the words, feelings, and gestures that are consistent with your mental picture. You should see yourself standing calm, confident, relaxed, and smiling as you address your audience. See the audience leaning toward you, smiling, laughing, enjoying, and hanging on every word you say, as if you were amazingly intelligent and entertaining. Here are 2 visualization techniques you can use. Internal and external visualization. With external visualization, you imagine yourself up on the stage, as though you were a third party or an audience member looking on. You see yourself standing there calmly, confident and erect, totally relaxed, and fluent in your subject. You see yourself as someone else watching you sees you speak to the group. With internal visualization, you see yourself and your audience through your own eyes. You imagine the audience around you responding to you in a positive way. You can alternate back and forth, seeing yourself from the inside and then seeing yourself from the outside, both in a positive way. This impresses your subconscious mind with a picture of you performing at your very best. Your subconscious mind will then respond by giving you the thoughts and feelings consistent with your picture. Programming your mind. Another way to develop confidence and calmness in public speaking is to visualize yourself giving your talk in an excellent fashion, especially before you fall asleep. Your subconscious mind is more amenable to reprogramming in the last few minutes before you doze off and in the first few minutes after you wake up than at any other time in the day. When you're falling asleep, visualize yourself giving a wonderful talk to an upcoming audience. This last impression soaks into your subconscious mind and affects you at a deep level while you sleep. The more often you repeat this exercise, the more calm and confident you will be when it actually comes time for you to speak to your audience. This method of mental rehearsal is very powerful. Emotionalize. You can actually get the feeling that you would like to have if you were already a successful and popular speaker. In other words, you can manufacture the emotions of happiness, joy, pride, excitement, and confidence by creating these feelings in yourself prior to speaking. You do this by imagining that you have just given a wonderful talk and everyone is standing, smiling, cheering, and clapping. You then imagine feeling wonderful about yourself and the great job that you have just done. When you are by yourself, create these feelings exactly as they would exist if your talk was as successful as you desire. Generate these feelings and combine them with the statement, "I give a wonderful talk every time." Combine these feelings with the visual picture you have of yourself as a fluent and competent professional speaker. Famous psychologist and philosopher William James once said, "The very best way to achieve a feeling is to act as if you already had that feeling." The actions are much more under the control of the will than the feelings. If you act as if you already had a feeling, you actually trigger that feeling. This is the key to successful acting and stage performances of all kinds. One good emotionalizing technique is called the end of the movie method. To understand this method, imagine that you arrive at your local theater to see a movie, but you are early and the previous showing of the movie you have come to see is not quite finished. Nonetheless, you go in and watch the last 10 minutes of the movie. You see how the drama resolves itself and how everything works out well for everyone in the end. When the movie lets out, you go back to the lobby for a few minutes until the movie starts again. You then go back into the theater and watch it from the beginning. Only this time, you already know how it ends. You know that the movie ends well, with the twists and turns of the plot all resolved successfully. As a result of knowing the end, you're much more relaxed as the plot unfolds. You enjoy the various scenes without becoming emotional because you know it ends well. In the same way, use the end of the movie technique for each speech you give. Imagine that you have reached the end of your talk and everyone is smiling and applauding. You have done a wonderful job. You feel happy, proud, and excited. Your friends in the audience are smiling with appreciation and pleasure. You imagine the end of your speech before you even begin to give it. You can practice this method alone over and over before you speak. You will be amazed at how often your speech will end exactly as you visualized it. Actualize. Here's an important discovery. Your subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a real event and an event that you vividly imagine. For example, if you have an actual success experience, your subconscious mind records that as one success experience. This remembered success experience will give you greater confidence in the next similar experience, especially in speaking. However, if you visualize, emotionalize, and imagine a successful experience, even if you have not had it yet, as far as your subconscious mind is concerned, you're actually having that experience in the outside world. So, if you visualize and replay a positive speaking experience 10 or 20 or 50 times in your mind, your subconscious mind records that you have just given 10 or 20 or 50 successful talks, all ending in standing ovations and happy audiences. When you practice this method, repeating your mental picture of success over and over, your subconscious mind finally becomes so convinced that you're excellent at speaking that you just naturally feel the calmness, clarity, and confidence that go along with being a complete professional. When you bring the three together, verbalization, visualization, and emotionalization, you actually program your subconscious mind for success and prepare yourself to speak well in front of any audience. Last-minute confidence builders. Much of the mental preparation for public speaking can be done far in advance. But there are a few things speakers can do to calm their nerves immediately before speaking and thereby improve their performances. Check out the room. When it is time for you to give your speech, arrive early and check out the room completely. Go up on the stage and stand behind the lectern. Walk around the room so that you can see where you will be speaking from the point of view of the audience. Speak to some of the early arrivals and ask them questions about where they're from and what they do. Ask for their names and give them your name. The more you talk to different audience participants before you stand up to speak, the more relaxed you will be. you will feel as if you're among friends. When you're introduced and you begin speaking, seek out the people in the audience whom you spoke to earlier and look at them directly, smiling, as though this were a one-to-one conversation with an old friend. This will cause you to relax and feel in calm control of your material. Do some breathing exercises for relaxation. Immediately prior to speaking, you can relax yourself and prepare to give an excellent talk by breathing deeply several times. The best formula for deep breathing is what I call the 7 by 7 by 7. What you do is to breathe in deeply, as deeply as possible, to the slow count of 7. You then hold your breath to the count of 7, and then exhale slowly to the count of 7. You repeat this breathing exercise 7 times, breathing in, holding your breath, and letting it out slowly. When you breathe deeply and hold it, you briefly drop into the alpha level of mind, clear your thinking, calm your nerves, and prepare yourself to speak well. Pump yourself up. Just before you're introduced, say to yourself, "This is a great talk. I can hardly wait. This is going to be a great speech." Repeat to yourself, "I like myself. I like myself. I like myself." Say these words with emotion, like you're trying to convince someone on the other side of the room that you really believe the words. The more emotionally you speak to yourself, the greater the positive impact it has on your subconscious and your behavior. Wiggle your toes. One way to increase your confidence and lower your fears is to wiggle your toes just before you go up to speak. As it happens, when you're really happy and excited, especially as a child, you wiggle your toes. When you wiggle your toes before you speak, it makes you more positive and enthusiastic. It actually makes you smile and feel happy. Remember, the actions create the feelings, just as the feelings create the actions. Roll your shoulders. Because much of a person's tension centers in the back and shoulders before a speech, you can relax yourself by rolling your shoulders several times. Shake your hands loosely, as if you are trying to shake water off of your fingers. This act seems to relieve tension and stress as well. When you combine them all, deep breathing, shoulder rolling, handshaking, and toe wiggling, you will feel relaxed, happy, and ready to speak. Stand erect. When you stand up to speak, hold your head up straight and erect. Imagine that there is a string running from the top of your head to the ceiling, and that you are dangling from the string. Thinking of a string holding your head erect actually makes you stand up straighter and gives your entire bearing an attitude of confidence and power. Think about your audience. Find a way to put yourself in a position of power over the audience mentally. For example, before you begin speaking, imagine that the audience is made up of people who owe you money. They have all come here to ask you to give them more time to pay. You can also imagine that the audience members are sitting there in their underwear. This mental picture makes you smile to yourself, reduces tension, and makes your talk more effective. When you think about your audience members like this, you become far more relaxed when speaking to them. Be grateful. A great way to increase your confidence with an audience is to practice gratitude for having this opportunity to speak. Say to yourself, I'm so grateful that I have a chance to speak to these people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Imagine that you really care about the audience. Say over and over to yourself, I love my audience. I love my audience. I love my audience. Professional speakers are familiar with the expression, the privilege of the platform. When you stand up to speak, always think of the wonderful privilege you have to be able to share your ideas with these remarkable people. The more grateful you are for the opportunity to speak to them, the more positive and enthusiastic you will be with every word. The more you genuinely like and care about the people you are speaking to, the more confident you will be. The more you see them as friends who like you and whom you like in return, the more relaxed you will be. It's not about you. Finally, remember that it is not about you. It's about them. Get out of yourself and your personal concerns about what they may think of you. Instead, project into the minds of your audience mentally and emotionally, and think exclusively about them. My friend Cavett Robert, founder of the National Speakers Association and a wonderful man, once said that, as a young speaker, he would rush onto the stage with the attitude of, "Here I am." He said that he only began to become an excellent speaker when he reversed his attitude. Instead of thinking, "Here I am," he would hurry onto the stage with the feeling of, "Wow, there you are." When you begin to see your audience as a room full of wonderful, exceptional, warm, charming, and interesting people, you will have the same attitude of, "Wow, there you are," and your fears will diminish. You will become calm, confident, warm, friendly, and positive. You will be on your way to becoming one of the best speakers in your field. Summary: mental fitness is like physical fitness, based on a series of exercises practiced over and over. When you apply these methods and techniques for calmness and mental mastery before you speak, you will soon feel calm, confident, and in complete control every time.